Morning, Blue Jays fans. Welcome to Jays Latest. I'm your host, Craig Borden. We had another rough evening yesterday in the Chavez Ravine playing against the LA Dodgers. So we're going to talk about that one, but we're going to look things up on the positive end first. So why don't we talk about Shane Bieber? Shane Bieber had another good start yesterday for the Buffalo Bisons. 5 2/3 innings, allows only 4 hits. 2 of those turned into earned runs, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts, but he threw 78 pitches. So right there is the encouraging part. That means he's on track to be a major league starter. Yes, I know it said 78 pitches. It's not the days we used to have with everything going on. The Blue Jays, all Major League Baseball, 100 pitches is a thing of gospel these days. We're very past. We were talking about this last night. And we heard Buck and Dan talking about this on the broadcast last night about Sandy Koufax. We are so far away from guys like Sandy Koufax that threw 300 innings, hundreds of pitches, and all these kind of things. And it's slightly ridiculous. You talk about where our bullpen is getting overworked. Watching your Major League Baseball starter only go through 4 2/3 yesterday, that would be the rough. So, but anyway, Shane Bieber is on the comeback trail, and he is looking to help this team down the stretch. I think there is some very fun stuff going on here because if you watch the footage that we reposted on the Jay Bird Watching podcast stuff on Twitter, at BirdwatchingGC, you can see the wonderful highlights that we found that were of his curveball, his everything working really, really well yesterday for the Buffalo Bisons. Nothing to slouch at. Those 6 strikeouts were very fun to watch. So check that footage out, or find wherever you can to see how Shane Bieber had been doing yesterday. But it was very encouraging and very fun to see what we're going to have here, probably maybe in his next start at the major league level. So now let's talk about the rough. We only scored 5 hits on the board yesterday against the LA Dodgers, as Blake Snell continues to be Blake Snell's biggest fan of the Blue Jays lineup, because he just ends up mowing through us all the time. For a Blue Jay lineup that doesn't strike out a lot, last night they struck out a lot. 14 total strikeouts. 10 of those were from Blake Snell in his second win of the season. 5 innings pitched, 3 only hits. I said that. Wow, Yoda that. 3 hits only, 3 walks. So the Blue Jays were only able to get a handful of base runners against him. 10 strikeouts, as I mentioned. Just wow. This offense is very quiet at the moment. And as it's gone quiet, the Blue Jays have not even had those opportunities. Going only 0 for 6 yesterday, so with runners in scoring position, they just could not get the ball moving. Ernie Clement was the only hitter that actually scored 2 hits on the board yesterday, which included the only run that the Toronto Blue Jays scored with a home run in the late innings of this game. That was his seventh of the year, and his 35th RBI. But can't blame Ernie. This offense has been struggling in its trip to LA. They need to find a way to spark something in this last game because, well, first things first, the Blue Jays need to win more games than they lose to keep the first place, and they are still technically in the best record in the American League East, but the Boston Red Sox and the Yankees both won yesterday. So need to keep pace to keep them off of our heels. So on that note, the offense has got to find a way to do something and keep things going in the right direction. Dalton Varsho is also the only lefty in this lineup yesterday because of playing against Blake Snell, which is not going to change today, but we'll get to that in a minute. As we go through the rest of this game, the Blue Jays really lost this one in the 6th inning. It was a game that Chris Bassett actually kept us in pretty well for a while, but Bassett only threw 68 pitches yesterday. I know he was struggling, but dear God, 68 pitches for a starting pitcher, you wonder why things aren't going in the right direction. You're just beating the snot out of our bullpen. So anyway, speaking of beating a snot out of it, after 4 2/3 and 3 earned runs on 6 hits for Chris Bassett, Yariel Rodriguez comes into this game, and he gets out of the inning that the fifth, but the sixth, dear God, Rod did not exactly have anything to cheer Rod. Two hits, four earned runs because he also walked. So the bases were loaded, and they brought in Sir Anthony Dominguez, who laid an egg in those last two outs of the inning. Oh no, sorry, trying to get any of the outs in the innings. I forgot about that. Two thirds from him, two hits, two earned runs, two walks, two Ks. Just allowed the Dodgers to start having fun and walking around the pillows at this point. Up to that point, the only ding on the performance was that Max Muncy was allowed a home run by Chris Bassett. At this point, now you've had Shohei Ohtani hit his 40th now to end the fifth, and then the circus just started walking around the bases, and it is what it is. But at that point, the Dodgers ran away with this one because Rod and Anthony Dominguez could not stop bleeding and just allow the offense for the Dodgers to keep going and keep the machine moving. Brandon Fisher does come in to stop the bleeding, and Tommy Nance comes in again late in the innings just to pull down the fort in the eighth. So, but the bullpen, wow, just it's been a struggle of late. They're overworked. That's the summary of all these problems. And there's only two ways to fix that: either get some help or get more innings out of your starting pitching. So I'm hoping for the latter of that because it just needs to happen. It's silly that they can't pitch more than 68 pitches in an outing. So much for that 100 pitch count thing. So, but yes, the bullpen gives up 6 in the 6th inning, and this sold the fate for the Toronto Blue Jays yesterday. But we do have one more game. So today, the Toronto Blue Jays will be taking on the Dodgers again in the afternoon this time, 4:10 p.m. start time. Eric Lauer will be on the hill, the Blue Jays ace at this point. And Tyler Glasnow is going to be the unfortunate one facing us on the other side. And if you haven't remembered him, the Blue Jays get decimated by Tyler Glasnow all the time. It's been a thorn in the Blue Jays side even since he was a Tampa Bay Ray, just like Blake Snell. But he's a really damn good pitcher. The current Blue Jay lineup does not have a lot of at-bats against Tyler Glasnow, but previously, with older teams and other players and everything, he mowed through our lineups. Vlad Jr. has a home run and 2 RBIs and 11 at-bats from him, and that is pretty much the most outside of Bo Bichette, who cannot touch him. His 12 at-bats is batting .083. So, rough for Bo, but Bo has been unconscious at the plate. He's in some kind of a zone that the ball looks like a beach ball, and he continues to match. So, Glasnow will take his current 10-game, only 47 innings, because he's been hurt all year too. 1.09 whip and a 3.06 ERA against the Blue Jays. And in answer to this, he's been beaten up by the Cincinnati Reds in one of his most 3 recent starts, but the other 2 had thrown 7 innings each with 3 hits and only 1 earned run. And against the Minnesota Twins, he struck them out 12 frickin' times. Eric Lauer will be on the mound, like I mentioned, for us. Story of the Blue Jays season, little Cinderella story. Just came out fresh off of another start where he only allowed 1 earned run, 6 innings of work, 7 hits against the Colorado Rockies, and before that it was Baltimore and Detroit, where he was both phenomenal. So Eric Lauer is at the moment could be the stopper to hopefully give us a win today, or give us a chance for this offense to come back and do something special today. That's all I got, Blue Jays fans. Keep those eyes on that Shane Bieber watch, because I think he will be probably coming up in the very, very near future. And we will be here to talk all things Toronto Blue Jays every day. So make sure you hit those like, share, and subscribe buttons. Cheers, everybody. Go Blue Jays.